One of 4 tunnels that now connects these pieces of land beneath the waterways between Eysturoy and Streymoy, the largest of the island of the Faroes.
Overall, the tunnel network is more than 11 kilometres long.
The so-called jellyfish roundabout, 70 metres underground.
It took a bit more than 2 years. Geological service that would be sure that you didn't come up to the sea bottom.
Since the 1960s, they've dug more than 20, spanning over 50 kilometres in total.
Fishing accounts for around 90% of this nation's exports. Your travel time can really add up. Undersea tunnels.
Take many of those inter-island ferries and unpredictable weather out of the travel equation. Actually one of 11 single-lane road tunnels in the Faroes. 2-kilometre tunnel was cramped, pitch black, and you had no idea how far you had left to travel. Then your mind would drift to the enormous weight of all that rock above your car.
In Viðoy, we have the second highest sea cliff in Europe, which is 754 meters high. We have only one good tunnel in this area, but you have to drive through 2 horror tunnels to get to our good tunnel.
Cluster of 18 islands connected means that access the high-paid jobs in Tórshav, the wealth is spread around the Faroe Islands.
We can have all four seasons in just one day. One time I was in my village, Viðoy. It was heavy snow, and then I was driving to the capital 1 hour away, and it was sun and it was dry outside. It was really weird to see.
Very many of our customers around the world are telling us they think our salmon is the best. The government and the Faroese farmers found out that we needed to be only one farmer per fjord. So we followed the fjord. We put in place a regulation in 2003. So after that, you were not allowed to put fish in sea if there was fish there before. And then you go back to virginity, you can say. Many costs will increase. Biological motor will work much better.
One of the few paradises on the earth, I think. But summer, I would like to have a little more sun in the summer, but minimum crimes. Very safe to stay here. People are very, very friendly, I think.
In the summertime, you can hear the children's voices up to midnight because we have light days in the summer, as well we have the darks, shortest days in the winter. Also here in the Faroes, maybe especially to compare with other countries, it's more free to be a child. Children in the Faroes not that controlled because we are really a safe country.
And even the keys are in the cars in many places, and there's no car gone in the morning.
The Faroe Islands, we have a huge possibility. We're strategically placed in the Arctic Circle.
Faroe Islands might be tiny when it comes to population, but we are actually one of those large ocean nations. We're a very big country if you take our sea territory.
Fish, very, very important to have fish, to eat fish. For 40 years ago, I think it was 20-30 fillet factory on the island here. Huh? Now we have 3 or 4, 10,000 fishermen. Now we have 1,500. We are using the machine to produce the fish. They are going out of the country to produce in Denmark and Germany. We are not producing that in the Faroes. If we have problem with a bad year of mackerel, salmon, it has been the biggest problem in the Faroes because we have not anything to fill it up with.
Educated at the university and also a lot of schools for handcraftship because we running to maintain houses and we build our ships. We have the shipyards and because we have a big fleet of fishing trawlers and big companies who are running trawlers.
Yeah, the Faroe Islands is the safest place to live in the world, I would say. Quite normal to have your friends help you build your house. They are carpenters, plumbers, fishermen, get it for free because you maybe have them with some other project.
To grow up in the Faroes, you have a lot of opportunities to have a good life.
The Second World War, we were occupied by the British and totally cut the connection with Denmark because the Danes were occupied by the Germans. The Faroes people are running the Faroe Islands.
Together with my wife Anna, we run Anna's family farm in the 9th generation. We have 5 children in all, and where the youngest one is 24. And probably if everything goes well, he will take over the farm in some years, and we feel really proud that we can continue to hand over the family tradition, and he can be the 10th generation. We have a flock of sheep out freely in the mountains. There are 150 in total, but now with the lambs we are up to 300.
The largest of the Faroe Islands, Streymoy boasts a landscape of dramatic contrasts. Hardy Faroese sheep graze on the abundant grasses, their woolly coats protecting them from harsh Atlantic winds.
We know from searchers that there's around 600 to 800,000 pilot whales in this area, from north up to Iceland and down south of England. And we take about 1,200.
When the whales come in near the coast, then we go out with the boats and throw them into the sand. And before it was very barbaric. Later, 20 years, we have this one, it's only one stick and is dead.
If you never have been seen a slaughterhouse inside and then you see a slaughterhouse at the water, of course it's dramatic because it's blood. The pilot whale was part of that people survived here out in the North Atlantic. And people are asking us, why are you not just taken in and have more vegetables? That has mean it's also have to be imported from somewhere else, from South America. And that's a long distance to feed a population when you have the food right just in front of your door.
The whale meat is a food source for those people whose body is lacking carnitine. So the body lacks carnitine, that's why they have to eat more meat. They are cut into small pieces, like squares. And then it was like in this village, this family in this house would get like one part of the whale. So the whale meat is never for sale. If the people in the village have enough meat, they will give it to the village next to us. And people in prison and elderly homes, they also get a share of the whale.
Before it was necessary for everyone to have it salted and dried for survival. But now, many of the young people doesn't even eat the whales. All the fish and the whales in the sea, it's very healthy food. But some people said that the whales are poisoned with the other stuff you buy in the stores. I think that's much more unhealthy than the whale, that's for sure.
Because we are still a part of another nation. In 1946, the people of the Faroe Islands voted for independence. There was a majority of the people who said yes to independence, and this was, of course, connected to the Second World War, where we had been totally cut the connection with Denmark because the Danes were occupied by the Germans. We did very well on our own, so the people said, okay, we will do just like Iceland, we will go out of the coalition with Denmark and we will be a sovereign state. It didn't go that way, so we got this home rule law instead in 1948. Gave us a lot compared to what we had before 1948. We are in charge fully of taxing, healthcare, education, every thinkable thing. And we're a very rich country if you take our resources. We don't need the money from Denmark. We will very soon get economical independence. When we are paying for ourselves, of course we are also deciding for ourselves. Take healthcare, for example. We decide how much to tax in this country, so we also decide how to use the money. We use a lot of money to buy services from the Danes, or we send patients to Iceland, for example. When Denmark went into EU, Faroe Islands decided not to follow. We can design international treaties, for example, on fishery. Parliament has a very huge role in making law, of course thinking of the well-being of the people in Faroe Islands. 2030 will be 100% renewable energy ashore. The amount we get from Denmark every year is lesser than decent football players.
We and the Faroese have demonstrated how small communities in rather isolated territories can in fact enjoy a life of excellence in the 21st century economy. That the remoteness does not have to be a hindrance, whether it's in information technology or economic prosperity or many other areas.